I'm Richard Marshall. I am a research director at Gartner. I'm a member of the mobile and endpoint computing team, and my particular responsibility is around mobile applications, their creation, strategies behind them, the tools that you use to create them, and just generally all of the aspects about delivering mobile services. This week at the Gartner Symposium here in Cape Town, we've been talking a lot about digital business. Quite a few people reasonably say, well, what is a digital business? I'm a traditional business. How does it mean to transform myself into a digital business? What do I have to do? And yeah, as I say, it's a perfectly reasonable question because it's not immediately obvious how you do that. And the approach is different for every organization typically, but the most common theme that we could use here is that we're about changing the channels that we communicate with people. So you might purchase a product via mobile phone, or you might buy it over the web, and the delivery and the payment is all separated out. So you may pick the object from the web, and it may be a physical thing that's sent to you, or you may actually download digital content, which is obviously a separate digital business. But it's all about the use of different touch points and the appropriate touch points, digital channels to reach the consumer. But there's another element that's deeply important here. It's not just about throwing out a website, because we've been doing that for a long time. It's about using these channels to optimize the communications so that we're going to make the right experience on the right device and measure it. So we're going to put in analytics there. So true digital business is measuring every interaction and gathering big data behind that, which we can use for algorithmic business, which is the next phase, that can come back and understand consumer behavior and then use that behavior to influence the products, the delivery, and the channels. So how does mobility fit into a digital business? Well, mobility is a key element of all services, or it should be, because the mobile phone is the interface of choice. We all know the statistics about people would rather leave their keys behind than their phone or their wallet. So when you go out, what do you take with you? When you're at work, what you have with you? What you have about you in the house? The answer is your mobile phone. So mobility really is that key contact channel, and it's going to become the center of everything we do. For many people, it's already the center of their social life as they manage things through social media, messaging services. And as a digital channel, it becomes the shopping, supply, interaction. It's how you talk to your bank. It's how you manage your vacation requests with your employer. It's how you find a job. In many cases, it's how you find your partner in life as well. So mobility becomes a very essential part, but it is not the same as a digital business. So it's important to understand that having a mobile app does not make you a digital business. It means you have a mobile strategy, but that mobile strategy has to be part of the overall digital strategy, because you will have to integrate other channels. So if it's a physical product, you have to ship it. You may have to use SMS to alert people or push notifications, or you might want to interact on the web. So mobility is a key element, but it's not the whole picture. So delivering mobile is also incredibly important for this analytics. I was talking about the importance of understanding that channel. So once you put something onto mobile, it gives you a lot more context. You have automatic location information, you can have the camera, you can use video, you can talk to people in different ways, you can even put voice in. I believe that people actually talk to each other in their mobile phones. And this is something that you can interact with in lots of ways that aren't previously there, and you can understand more about people's behavior. So you know where they go, as long as you ask them permission. You know when they interact with it on a time basis. So you can use all of this information you're gathering, again, to optimize that experience and bring it back and create a truly engaging customer experience on mobile. So how's this impacting Africa? Well, Africa is, of course, a continent of huge contrasts. So on one side, we have incredible cities with great connectivity. And here we've seen a lot of innovative services that have been launched. So there have been dating services, there's taxi services, and all sorts of digital activity. Very rich startup scenes in certain countries and certain cities, lots of exciting activity. On the other hand, you have areas with limited connectivity, rural areas with problems like you can't charge your phone. Now, coming from Europe or the US, the idea that you haven't got access to power but you have access to cellular data is kind of strange, which means that Africa is actually producing some very, very interesting solutions to African problems. So we're seeing people producing pay-as-you-go lighting services, where you just pay for the equipment when it's being used to light your house and charge your phone. I think that's absolute genius. We're seeing things like people offering bicycle-based charging systems where you can set up in the market and charge people's phones, and then when you're done for the day you fold it up and you use the same bicycle you use for charging the devices to cycle home. At the other end you have very sophisticated biosensors being created here in Cape Town, some fantastic technologies out there that are also spanning this range, so that you have a technology that is designed on one side for people with smartphones but understands that not everybody has smartphones, so you degrade that service and deliver it through SMS and USSD and other techniques. The other aspect that we're seeing here is that companies are beginning to realize that the cost of mobile can be prohibitive for many people in the continent. So we're seeing approaches that are actually engaging other technologies, marketing approaches, incentivizing people to do their jobs and respond to notifications by actually using mobile airtime and data plan budget as a mechanism to reward people for interacting with it. So there's too many companies to pull out specifics, but there's a huge amount of exciting activity happening here. And one of the things that's worth mentioning is that in many ways there's an opportunity here to leapfrog the more established markets, because the mobile infrastructure is fresh, it's fast, and there's a lot of exposure to it. So many people have mobile devices who don't have any other form of communication. So there's an incentive to use mobile as the digital channel of choice. Having talked about solving African problems with African technology, I think it's very important to recognise that Africa is well positioned to address the global market, because there's some incredible expertise being developed here. So addressing problems that might be specifically African today generates a whole new range of understandings of behaviours of people, and how do we address this digital channel? And I think that every company operating in the continent should have an eye on the rest of the world, because you can take this incredible experience and technical skill that has been built up and use that in the world stage, because that's where the global battle's been fought, that's where the huge organizations are struggling, frankly, in many areas, and you can help them and work with them and then become huge global providers. There are several huge global technical providers already from South Africa, and these should be a role model for anybody aspiring to address the technical market. So I'm Richard Marshall, I'm from Gartner. I'm on the mobile and endpoint computing team, where I'm a research director responsible for mobile applications, strategies and tools, and thank you very much for your time.